Sellout crowd of 60,000 plus at the McAfee Coliseum in Oakland, California to see the reigning Super Bowl champion Indianapolis Colts and the Oakland Raiders. And a look at the AFC South with the Colts enjoying a 2-game advantage coming into play today. Jacksonville and Pittsburgh, that's not a final as yet to simply boil down the playoff implications. A win for the Colts today, and they have won the AFC South once again. As we welcome you to the east side of the Bay, Dick ENBERG and Randy Cross. And did I get it right? Some of the folks are talking about the Colts flying under the radar at 11-2.
11-2, world champions, defending world champions. And New England being undefeated has taken all the attention away from the Colts. They are a better football team right now than they were last season at the end of the year.
Better than the team that won the Super Bowl.
Better than the one that won the Super Bowl.
Well, then one of the reasons the level of excellence continues is their Phi Beta Kappa quarterback, Peyton Manning. 10 straight years in the league, 10 straight 25 touchdown plus seasons. He's never missed a game. This is his 158th start. It all goes to Manning. He is the inspiration and leader of this football team.
It really does. And when it comes to today, specifically against this defense, watch him at the line of scrimmage. He'll have to change plays, and he'll go to the run a lot today, too.
Well, the Oakland Raiders have found themselves a dandy running back.
They really have. They signed Dominique Rose from the Indianapolis Colts this year. They got Lamont Jordan from the Jets the year before that. Justin Vargas has just stood around, waited around for his turn, and he's that rare story in the NFL, an inexperienced player that's around for a couple years to cover and kicks, gets his chance, and is making big time advantage of it. And Jamarcus Russell played a couple of series against Denver 2 weeks ago. He'll play in both halves today as the situation is right.
Russell, the #1 player picked out of LSU in the draft by the Oakland Raiders, and this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Looking down on the natural turf of the Oakland Coliseum, young Lane Kiffin, age 32, Fresno State. Head man, and he's improved things here with the Raiders. The long kick by Janikowski halfway into the end zone, taken out by TJ Rushing, and Rushing is doing just that as he rushes past the 30 and then meets resistance from Ricky Brown, the linebacker. And out comes Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. He's never missed an NFL start, as we mentioned, in those 25 touchdowns in 10 straight seasons. Certainly more than admirable. Up front center, Jeff Saturday quarterbacks the blockers on that offensive line. He's key. He's gone to Honolulu the past 2 years, and with Marvin Harrison out for the 8th game, Reggie Wayne continues to carry the lead and load and catches with 9 of those for touchdowns. It's Wayne far right, Dallas Clark the slot right, and Manning comes out throwing under some pressure. Throws complete to Wayne and circles back at the 42-yard line with a pickup of a dozen and a first down. Flag on the play. Thrown in the secondary of the Raiders. And it's just amazing what these Colts have done with all their injuries.
Personal foul, face mask, number 27 to defense, 15 yards, first down.
So tack on the 15. Fabian Washington, the cornerback, gets a piece of the wire cage, and that'll move the Colts into Raider territory to the 42.
Right there, the hand goes to the face mask quickly, just a quick tug, but had it for long enough to affect him coming down to the ground.
Tony Dungy, 6 seasons of, again, outstanding play. The Super Bowl champions trying to make it 12 wins in 5 consecutive years. That's never been done before. Handed off to a guy, caught in the backfield. Good penetration coming from veteran Gerard Warren. The defense of the Raiders. At up front, Derek Burgess, the defensive end, a Pro Bowler the last 2 years. He'll be taking aim at sacking Peyton Manning. The linebackers are led by the speedy Thomas Howard. He has 5 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns, and is second in tackles. And in the defensive backfield, teams are staying away from the rangy Nnamdi Asomugha. 8 interceptions last year sent him to the Pro Bowl. He has only 1 pick this year because they just don't throw in his direction. Second down and 12. Manning over the middle, complete to the rookie Gonzalez. He's at the 30 and finally wrestled down at the 26-yard line. Anthony Gonzalez at his coming out touchdown party last week against Baltimore. 124 yards and 2 touchdowns, his first 2 scoring plays.
Coming across from the slot, zone defense, dropped the 2 safeties deep. They've already showed something a little different than normal. Normally they're a single safety deep defense, gave them a zone, and they took advantage of it with the crossing pattern.
19-yard play and a first down, and here's Manning with the no huddle, working the hand signals as he checks the Raider defense. Oakland mentioning that they're not going to try to disguise much or trick him because he's so clever at reading it. A die, and he's covered by 3 black jerseys, and Thomas Howard spearheading the charge.
That's real important, Dick, for Peyton Manning when he sees this defense. If he sees 2 deep safeties, and that means there's only 7 in the box, he's not going to hesitate a second like he did there to go with the running play. They've got to be able to run the ball against this Raider defense when they show him the 7 in the box, because if they can't, he's going to run into a lot of trouble when it comes up front, when it comes time to pass.
Howard having a great year in the second season out of Texas El Paso. Big play linebacker. Adai gets a couple on first down. 2nd and 8 at the 24. Manning to the end zone for Wayne. Almost picked off by Fabian Washington. Had he caught it, I don't know if he would have stayed in the end zone.
Getting Peyton Manning guessing a little bit. Coming up in a quick look, giving him man. Raiders love to play man defense. Wonderful job by Washington playing that man defense. Actually broke on the ball a little bit better than Reggie Wayne.
3rd down and 8. Manning in the shotgun with a dive to his right. Gonzalez far left with Wayne in the slot. The throw underneath, and he wide open is the tight end, Ben Utek, and he's at the 11-yard line with another Colts first down. Chris Carr, an extra defensive back, made the tackle.
You mentioned in the meetings, Dick, that it was unusual to see this Colts offense not throw the ball to their running backs more. One of the reasons the running backs aren't catching more passes is Ben Utek is catching more balls. You've got Clark being more involved as a slot receiver, and the receivers like Gonzalez have really stepped up in the absence of Harrison.
First down at the 12. Manning told us yesterday, it's interesting, the Raiders often will drop 8 back when you get inside that 15-yard line. He swings it out to Adai, and Adai crushed at the 12-yard line. I don't think he gained a thing. Jay Richardson, the rookie defensive end from Ohio State, made this stop.
The rookie left tackle, Tony Hugo, was out there in front of the play for Adai, trying to get a block, and Adai did such a nice job. They didn't even need the big guy's block. Very mobile, young offensive lineman. Their offensive line coach, Howard Mudd, in my opinion, has probably done his finest coaching job of his career with this young guy early on, having him fit so easily into this complex offense.
2nd, and they may have gained a foot, so it's 2nd and 9 officially. Here's a little pass, a shovel pass, and it was right into the teeth of the charge of the Raiders. Sapp and Sands were both there.
Yeah, Warren Sapp, if this is a made-for-TV movie or Hollywood, the ball would have stuck right there in his big mid as he put it right in front of Joseph Adai.
Another 3rd down facing the Colts. 3rd and a long 9.
Here's that 3-man rush you were talking about earlier, Dick, with Sapp out as the left defensive right end coming over Hugo, the left tackle.
They really got 4 men bunched way over defensively on the near side. Now they adjust. 3rd and 10. Manning underneath, gets it to Wayne, but it won't be enough for the first down at the 4-yard line. So a good defensive job by the Raiders to deny the touchdown. Out comes the field goal unit.
And there's the desired effect of what you talked about, a 3-man rush. You've got 8 people drop back in that confined an area. You've got to throw it underneath and hope you get a chance to make the tackle. And Kirk Morrison on that play made a great tackle, holding him short of the first down.
Adam Vinatieri, veteran, with a 22-yard attempt. He hasn't had many opportunities recently, as you saw that last graphic, and he boots this one through. Not much more than an extra point. So the opening kickoff taken by Manning and the Colts. They drive inside the 5, but settle for 3. With his coach Tom Moore studying the Polaroids, not his record book and his status there. He's thrown 5 completions on that opening drive and now has 3,409 career completions, tying Joe Montana for number 8 all time. Chris Carr with Vinatieri's kickoff for Hunter Smith, and he's out across the 25 and draws a crowd just shy of the 30-yard line. 9:53 left in the opening quarter. The Colts lead by a field goal. Raiders, as well as tickets for troops. They have a Tickets for Kids program. Justin Fargas and the Raiders have the ball. It's Fargas on a fake draw, and McCown, the quarterback, to throw back to Fargas, drops it in the left flat. Covered by Freddie Keaho. Well, the pride and joy of Sam Houston State. Josh McCown making his 8th Oakland start at quarterback. He's 3-4 for the season. A threat to run. You got to watch him out of the pocket. On the offensive line, center Jeremy Newberry, a former 49er, has Pro Bowl credentials, and everyone in the Raider Nation is raving about the hard running of tireless and the tireless style of Justin Fargas. He needs just 80 yards today to hit the 1,000-yard mark, and here's his first shot at that, and he picks up 5-6 hard yards before being tackled by Marlon Jackson. And here's the Colts starting defense. Talk about injuries. All 4 defensive linemen starting the Super Bowl are out today. Defensive end Josh Thomas in for the injured Robert Mathis. The Colts D is described as undersized, fast, but tough. On the cover of that media guide is 5'10", 230-pound middle linebacker Gary Brackett. At secondary, no one in the league arrives at the ball quicker and tougher than safety Bob Sanders. Keep your eye on him. He is a player. 3rd down and a long 3. And McCown throwing to the sidelines. Incomplete. Tried to throw on the back shoulder of Ronald Curry, who drew coverage from Tim Jennings. And it's 3 and out for McCown and the Raiders.
And I like the approach the Raiders are taking. And Lane Kiffin's decided he's going to be aggressive. And I know their personality has been running the ball. But with all the people out, especially on the front 4, an entirely different front 4 for this team. They don't generate the pass rush, and if you can get some work done up front throwing the ball, you can make some yards and stand toe-to-toe with this team.
Here's the league's top kicker, Shane Leckler, and he hits a big boot. TJ rushing from the 10. Finds the crease, and he could go all the way. He's got to beat Leckler. He's by him, and it is TJ rushing for an Indianapolis touchdown of 90 yards.
Boy, not a single Raider squared up on him during that rush. Everyone was coming at it on an edge and at an angle, and that speed killed every angle.
Rushing, who knows the environs. He played his college ball on the other side at Stanford.
There's never a square look at him, and once he hits that 30-yard line, for all intents and purposes, put up the 6, because Leckler doesn't have a shot of stopping him, not with that much field around him.
It's been the Colts that have been generous on special teams, allowing 4 kick return touchdowns this year. Rushing gets a big 90-yarder, and here's Vinatieri for the try. And at 8:42 of the first quarter, a special team score for the Colts. That'll please even the veteran quarterback. 10-0.
5 and 52. 52 the linebacker. Right there getting a nice block. That springs him early. Coe right there gets the block on the edge, and that's a touchdown. As soon as that block is made by Coe, it is all over. Excellent execution by that return team for Indianapolis.
What a name for a football player running the ball. TJ rushing 90 yards, and that ties the Colts' longest kickoff return touchdown in history. And I mean going back to the Baltimore Colts 51 years ago when Carl Tassif went 90 yards in 1956. I mean a punt return, punt return. And Carl Tassif went 90 yards. Here comes Chris Carr to the 30. And he tries to wiggle free, and a good effort by Carr gets the Raiders a decent field position at the 37-yard line. Rocky Boyman, the special teams tackle, and out comes Josh McCown, now down by 10.
Yeah, you better take a deep breath right now if you're the Raiders. You have a decision to make. You came out chunking it, and I had no problem with that personally, just as a fan watching, but down 10 zip to this team, with a small, aggressive defense in front of you with an inexperienced front four, you've got to spread them out and pound this ball, hold on to it for a while.
Chris McFoy, number 14, just activated for the game today. Rookie, Southern California. He's out wide to the right, but it's Fargas, another Trojan, who gets the call out to the 41. And Randy, what do you have for us on your cross-talk?
So far, if you're the Oakland Raiders, you have not stood toe-to-toe real well. You've got to have an answer if you're the Oakland Raiders. You have to keep the Colts in sight and make a last-second play help you at the end of the game. And the Colts, it's the other way. Get this early lead, go to the run, and stay healthy and get ready for the playoffs.
Pick up a 4 on first down by Fargas. A fumble by McCown. The ball in the mass of players, and apparently the Raiders got the good bounce, or McCown found his own error, able to fall on it and save really the disaster. And the fans don't like what they're saying here in the early going.
How about that? How about McCown diving back in there? You see him wearing that glove on his left hand. He dislocated both joints, and his left pinky finger had the bone compound fracture, and he just dives right in there and throws his arms on it. You know how tough that's got to be with those stitches and everything else in that hand to try to recover it? I know it's your fault, but it doesn't make it any easier.
You saw the scar yesterday. It was ugly. All right, 3rd down and 6. McCown fires to this side, and a great catch by Ronald Curry, the former basketball star out of Hampton, Virginia. He was in the last recruiting class of Dean Smith at the North Carolina Tar Heels. Wow, did he rebound that one?
Oh, he's working against Kelvin Hayden, who's giving him that pad. He pushes off, but that's pure want to. I mean, it's an all right throw. But Curry, as we've seen when we've done Raider games earlier this year, Dick, has that ability to come through with the big clutch catch.
McCown described it as a big circle. I can throw it in a big circle, and they get him for me. Here's Fargas trying the left side and into the Colts territory at the 46-yard line. A pickup of 3 into the arms of Josh Thomas. Here are the other scores. New England had their hands full with the weather and the Jets today. And how about Cleveland, an 8-0 shutout? Jacksonville winning at Pittsburgh, gave up a big lead and then came back late with a touchdown to win. And Miami in overtime finally has its first victory.
Wow. Boy, does it stink to be a Raven right now.
Well, even Mr. Poe couldn't clean that up, could he? 2nd down. Fargas. And he's met by Freddie Keaho, the second-year linebacker from San Diego State, and a teammate of Kirk Morrison, the linebacker of the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, this running game has been such a boon to this football team this year, because it was the bane of their existence the last 3 years. They just flat could not run it. And they not only that, they couldn't protect the quarterback. That combination there will make you the worst offense in the league. And the credit's got to go to this offensive line. They're much improved, and they love blocking for this guy, Justin Fargas.
Newberry, the center, Gallery and Carlisle, the guards, and Sims and Green, the tackles. Empty backfield on 3rd and 4. Fargas. Well, he is in there, and Fargas takes the call, and he fights forward, but short of the first down at the 40-yard line. So that'll bring up 4th and 1, and an interesting call for Lane Kiffin early.
He's going to go for it.
Out comes the fullback, Justin Griffith. McCown himself, a solid runner. He's averaging 5.3 a rush, 127 yards in his previous 7 games. Porter left and Curry right. Fargas figures to get the call. And he does on a sweep. And it doesn't work. He's hit at the 40-yard line by Freddie Keaho. Well, you go wide against this Colt defense, and you're asking for problems. They are so fast to the ball.
Wow, look at the way they run to the ball. You don't want to start wide because they will snuff you.
From the MetLife Blimp, Snoopy 2 providing today's aerial coverage. Look for the MetLife Blimps as they team up with CBS for more coverage throughout the year. Over on downs, they take the ball to the Colts at the 40-yard line. Testimony again, that last stand, of the tremendous team speed on defense of this Indianapolis club. Manning complete to Gonzalez, who tried to give ground to gain it, and it didn't work. He winds up with a +3. Thomas Howard, the tackler, and you talk about speed. He can run with any linebacker in the league with 4.42 speed.
And this is a pretty quick defense, but it's also right now, Dick, a very soft defense. Defensively, the safeties are playing, by the time the ball snapped, in most cases 10 or 15, 20 yards deep.
Look at Schweigert. He's at his 35-yard line right now.
But it's man under. It's too deep up top to prevent the big play, but it's man underneath.
Manning stepping away from pressure, throws underneath, complete to Gonzalez, and the rookie has a first down at the 47 of the Raiders. Let's go back to the fourth down stop by Indianapolis.
Well, the thing when you get this Indy defense, they will do this, especially from these linebacker positions and Sanders from the backside. They pursue. You may not know who they are up front. They may not be the hugest market names, but they flat run to the ball. Your best idea, if you're going to go for it on 4th and short, you got to go right at them with a power play. You go sideways, you are toast.
Adai is sent out to the far right. Two receivers, Gonzalez and Wayne, to the left. Manning over the middle, incomplete to Clark, Dallas Clark. Going back to the previous pass completion to Gonzalez, that one.
Ironic, it goes to a player that they draft this year early on, doesn't even play much, if not for the injury to Marvin Harrison. Who knows how many catches he has, but Gonzalez has become a real vital part of this passing offense.
Leading 10-0 here in the opening quarter. 2nd and 10 for Manning. And he throws incomplete. His receiver, Utek, had fallen at the 35-yard line. Thomas Howard on the coverage.
We always hear the term when you listen to a quarterback or people talk about quarterback better than Manning.
He throws deep this time, and it's complete to the rookie, Devin Aroma-Shodu of the University of Auburn, and he has his 2nd catch of the season. Now here, this is how far down Tony Dungy and his coaching staff, they're down to Aroma-Shodu, and he makes a big catch.
Aroma-Shodu is going to come right through the middle of the football field. Watch Peyton Manning from this angle and where he throws this ball. Right on the backside. I mean, just imagine if you're Stanford route, the defender, you have perfect position. You can't turn around and see the ball the whole time, and he throws right off your backside shoulder a bullet to Aroma-Shodu.
28-yard pass play and the first down inside the Raider 20-yard line. There are only 3 wide receivers in uniform for the Colts today. Clark incomplete in the flat. Of course, Clark more and more is not a tight end, but a slot receiver. But Reggie Wayne, Anthony Gonzalez, and Aroma-Shodu are the only wide receivers in uniform.
And from the offensive line.
One thing the Raiders have done, they've really choked off the run as Joseph Adai once again. Not much there as Gerard Warren makes another good defensive stop.
And Peyton Manning gets in this no huddle and just try to forestall some substitutions. If you're not on the ball, he will absolutely quick snap you.
Flag thrown at the 20-yard line. Jerry Austin is our official today, our referee.
Guy still being on the field when he does snap the ball.
12 men on defense. The man did not clear the field before the ball was snapped. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
And that's not by accident. That's by Manning design.
Those actually, you might have to have a new quarterback category. God forbid that you put it in this so-called rating system, but you know, Lane Kiffin might even be for. If he's going to catch you in that kind of a defense, you should give those 5 yards to the quarterback for doing it.
So it's 2nd and 5 at the 14-yard line. Adai with Manning in the shotgun. Underneath, complete to Utek. And the backup tight end is to the 6-yard line. And that'll be good for another first down. Robert Thomas.
The line of scrimmage. About the 3 or 4 rushers, but dropping back as many as possible in coverage in these short areas.
A minute 15 remaining in the opening quarter, and the Colts trying to add to their 10-0 lead.
And he would love to run underneath one of these wide rushers.
There's the stretch play to Adai, and again, the Raider defense against the run is ready, and Warren, 61, helped out by Robert Thomas.
And specifically, the Raiders do something a little bit different, especially when they have Clemens in there, the linebacker slash defensive end. They get their defensive ends rushing the quarterback, Burgess and Clemens, wider than probably anybody else in the league. They're almost like they're covering the slot receivers. They get out so wide.
2nd and goal at the 5. Adai slotted out to the near side, empty backfield behind Manning. The throw is for Wayne, and it's well over his head as Eugene came over on the coverage. It was an interesting throw. He didn't really put it in the air on it.
He didn't have any. They're showing the blitz. It actually turns into the blitz, and they almost get there in time.
Manning has been sacked only 17 times all year. So 3rd and goal.
3-man rush again.
Manning's going to try to cut it in the end zone himself. Did he make it? Yes, touchdown. Oh, my. You wondered if he would take the shot at running it in, and he just teased the Raiders long enough that he was able to wedge his 230 pounds and 6'5" in height, and he needed all of that to get to the goal line.
Watch the knee, then watch the ball. Where's the ball? Knees down. Where is it? I think it's short. I challenge this if I'm Lane Kiffin. That was not a touchdown.
And Kiffin is going into the pocket. Hasn't thrown red flag yet.
He didn't step out of bounds, but that ball was not in the end zone. That knee is down on the ground and the ball is short.
There's the flag. And the fans certainly were encouraging just that.
Sometimes you delay it, and other times you forget which socket's it.
I think he waited until the last minute.
Ruling on a field of a touchdown.
Part of that being maybe
when the field is reversed, the runner is short of the goal line. It'll be 4th down. Oakland will not be charged with a timeout.
The key on that play to me, really to emphasize what Gerald Austin had to see, was that job done by Morrison, the linebacker, coming in there as Peyton Manning's knee was going down. Morrison, the linebacker, 52, comes in and knocks the ball out and knocks it back into Peyton Manning's left arm, just sort of reinforcing that the ball never even threatened the plane.
Manning tried to sneak it on the goal line.
Oh, they got to go for this. You're up 10-0. You're on the road. You're dominating the football team the way you are. This isn't even a decision. This is a natural.
And they'll have more time to think it over and talk it over, as that is the end of the first quarter with a 10-0 Indianapolis lead. Welcome back, Dick Enberg, Randy Cross, as the Colts on 4th and less than a yard now with exchange of ends right into the black hole here in Oakland, and number 45 Luke Lawton enters the backfield for the first time. An extra offensive lineman as well. This could be a big turnabout for the Raiders. Should they stop the Colts, they could pick up some momentum.
How about a sneak, Dick?
It's a pass, and open is Utek for the touchdown. No, he dropped the ball. Utek open, but couldn't hang on, and the Raider defense indeed stops the Colts right on the goal line.
That was an absolutely perfect job by Thomas Howard. Backside hand in there, knocks it loose. Woo! Deep.
The speed of the Colts, that Thomas Howard shows what speed can do. He's able to race in and make the play and deny a big touchdown chance, and gives the Raiders some momentum. He's got a couple of interceptions for touchdowns this year. And now from his 1-foot line, Josh McCown with Justin Fargas lined up in the end zone. Take to Fargas. McCown throws complete underneath. And it's Fargas out to the 9-yard line.
Well, that last play on 4th and short, there's Utek right there. There's Dallas Clark, the tight ends. Not only is Utek covered on the backside, I think Clark was probably first option. He runs right into Ricky Brown, the linebacker, and he's never even close to being open.
When he threw the ball, Manning thought he had 6, but Howard able to sprint in, reacting, and got his hand in the right place to deny.
Good job of a linebacker and a defender watching the offensive player, seeing the ball come in. You see the whack to the head called on Josh Thomas, number 91.
So the penalty takes it out to the 23-yard line, so they're out of that hole at the 1-yard line, and Fargas caught by the ankles after a gain of 3 by Freddie Keaho.
Doesn't it impress you, Dick, when you watch this Colts defense, how well they tackle? It sounds funny and it sounds natural. Oh, tackling. And you hear all the time tackling's down in the league. Well, it certainly isn't for Tony Dungy's defense. Bob Sanders there and Gary Brackett, the middle linebacker, might be the best tacklers in the NFL. And when they do get the chance, watch their corners. When you have those now passes, those little quick passes out there, they rarely, if ever, come close to missing a tackle.
Now, Kelvin Hayden up on the far side, the corner there, leads the team in solos. Again, it's Fargas plowing his way close to a first down. Needs to get to the 33.
You know, it's not real dramatic and it's not terribly exciting, this Raiders offense, but Justin Fargas has made such a difference coming in this year. If you look at what he did his first 4 years in the league and compare it to what he's done this year, he's basically, you hear the term career year, well, he's had a career this year.
Yeah, 4 seasons, and he's almost matched the numbers of 4 full years with what he's done here in 2007. 3rd and 2. And it's right back to Fargas. And he's hit but falls forward across that yellow line. And a first down. Matt Giordano starting today in the place of the injured Antoine Bethea. Bethea out injured last week against Baltimore.
You see from 03, 04, 05, 06. And then to this year, the impressive part to me is really jumps out is that yards per rush, the difference. And that goes not only to his attitude and the way he runs, but also to the improved blocking up front. But we always talk about special teams players that have no regard for their body. Justin Fargas runs like he has no regard for his body.
And he draws praise from his teammates. We heard it time and time again at the Raider camp this week. McCown underneath, complete to the fullback Griffith. And he battles his way to the 40-yard line in the game of 6. The CBS Sports Store, fans, is the perfect place to save big on gifts for all the sports
seen so far in this game is one of those Bob Sanders hello hits. You know, the first thing you want to say when you hear the contact, hello. And he gives at least a couple of those a game.
There he is, 21, playing in the middle of the field. Handoff is inside to Fargas, and he runs through the tackle of Bob Sanders, and it's finally Gary Brackett who gets him down, but not until the Raiders have another first down. And this crowd now excited. The goal line stand, and now a good drive to midfield.
Not a dramatic play, but watch the surge this way by the offensive line and the blockers of the Oakland Raiders. It's not spectacular, but once contact is made, they keep going forward, and Indy keeps going backwards.
First down at the Raider 47. Fargas with 38 yards rushing here in the opening half. Needs 80 today to hit 1,000. Back to Fargas. And he battles again. Contact. And then yards after for Fargas. Keontae Dawson, number 96, playing for the injured Raheem Brock, made the tackle.
Dominique Rhodes comes into the game to face his former mates at halfback. It's talk about change fortunes. You go from a Super Bowl where you run for 113 yards, you get a chance to be a free agent, you're coming to the Raiders, you're going to be a star, and this kid eats up all your yards.
He had more carries in the Super Bowl than he's had all season with the Raiders, but he gets the call here, and he's close to a first down at the Colts 43-yard line. Well, in that Super Bowl, Rhodes did get some of the most valuable player votes with 113 yards rushing to lead all ball carriers, and he had a touchdown as well. 21 total rushes, and this year that run that we just saw was his 13th of the entire season.
Well, our director Suzanne Smith and I were over in Baghdad, Camp Prosperity, watching that game with the troops. I tell you, I would have voted for the whole offensive line in that Super Bowl. I'm a bit prejudiced about that stuff.
No, you are
biased.
a little, but that's okay. Here's the sneak by McCown on 3rd and a yard, and he's got it.
Easy.
So after the stop on the 1-foot line by the Raider defense, they've moved steadily downfield, and now with a first down Well, maybe not.
That was a questionable mark.
It looked as if he had
I thought he was right at the 43-yard or by it. And he comes up about a foot short.
Yeah, let's see the official measurement. You know, the Colts so close to taking a 17-0 lead, and now it's the Raiders. They do not make it. So by that much on 4th down.
Well, there's no doubt here. If you win for it before, but watch McCown. He comes in. He's going right over the top. Man, does he get drilled?
That's Keaho again.
Right on that left hand. Freddie Keaho puts his helmet right on that left hand. It has the brace and the stitches and the dislocated joints. And
4th down and inches. They quickly out of the huddle, and they sneak it again with McCown. And he's still on his feet. And it appeared once again he made it, and he did. Clock running with 9:20 to go in this opening half. And the Raiders trying to chew into that 10-0 Colts advantage.
You know, Dick, say what you will about the Raiders. I know their record isn't very good, but I think Lane Kiffin has made a real difference in this. You always hear about the culture of a team. And Al Davis is still the man in charge here in Oakland, but these guys play with a different attitude. They're playing with a purpose, which is something that's been unusual the last few years.
1st down at the 43. Off play action, McCown. He wants to go for a big one down the middle of the field, and it is incomplete. Ronald Curry, and once again, Curry so great at leaping up in a crowd, and he almost took it away from the shorter Sanders and Giordano.
It kind of reminds you of that basketball background in North Carolina. He was a great quarterback, Newport News, Virginia, and went to North Carolina and knows how to go up and get it. A little different when somebody's trying to do you bodily harm when you go up and get it at this level, but Giordano does a nice job, and I'm surprised from what we've seen so far that Curry didn't catch that ball.
He has his 50th catch of the season in this first half. He leads the Raiders. Never played wide receiver in high school or college. Quick throw underneath the Porter, and he is tackled at the 33-yard line. And there again, a good enough hit that Porter, unable to spring free, he might have had big yardage inside.
It brings up a 3rd and 1, but it's another example of those now routes. Come right up out of the snap, and bang, you see that pad. You just throw it out there, and if not for a good tackle, it wasn't exactly a form tackle, but if not for the pure tackle getting him on the ground, that's another 10-yard play.
Chris McFoy just activated, is wide to the right. Fargas in the backfield. Here comes McFoy in motion. And it's Fargas hit, but drives forward for the 1st down at the 31-yard line. And the pounding on the ground by Justin Fargas and company, wearing down this light and undermanned somewhat front 4 of the Colts.
I'm going to give Bay Area fans kind of a flashback here. This young man, Fargas, you know who he reminds me of? I played with him in San Francisco during the bad days, the 6-10 and 2-14 years. Paul Hofer in San Francisco. He runs hard like Hofer ran hard.
Every play. And it has inspired the team. He gets a call again. Look at him, burrows way inside the 25. And he's getting big chunks of yardage. 1st down carry of 7 yards before Ed Johnson, the tackle, could trip him up.
This is just go from point A to point B and get good blocking, good surface maintained by Carlisle on the backside defensive tackle. Sets that up for Fargas.
Again, this drive started at the 1-yard line, actually inside the 1, led by Fargas. 75 yards now. They've moved downfield to the Colts 24, consuming more than 8 minutes. There's that quick now to Porter at the 20 to the 15, and another 1st down. Marlon Jackson with a tackle.
But that's just a gimme. Those are free yards. If McCown sits over the center and you see that kind of pad, there's nobody in the screen as far as a defender in front of Porter. Why not just flip it out? 7 yards off of Joey Porter is Jackson. Just give it to him and see if we can make somebody miss.
At the 15-yard line, Curry back in. He's to the right, Porter to the left. McCown to throw. There's those feet we talked about, but a flag is down, and so is McCown at the 11-yard line.
That was a combination of holding and hands to the face.
10 yards, repeat first down.
Cooper Carlisle at right guard, ticketed with the hold. Raiders' 18th holding penalty of this season.
Cooper
and
Carlisle,
most in the NFL.
The right guard, starts getting on the roller skates heading back. He's got a little face mask. He's got a little shoulder pad. He's got a little jersey. And they get him for a little bit of throat.
That's what really upsets the officials.
Doesn't take a lot of throat. Well, you only have to get a little throat to
get around that larynx and you're in trouble.
Squeeze that voice box right, they can't complain.
That's true. First and 20. McCown again. He's got room to run. 20. Oh my, is he belted by Kelvin Hayden, the 195-pound cornerback. We told you, he leads the team. When's the last time you've seen a cornerback lead a team in solo tackles? Well, here's one.
Bob Sanders doesn't have a hello hit, but Kelvin Hayden does.
It's 10 yards that they lost on the holding penalty, and McCown paying the price.
Man, that eliminates a couple childhood memories when you get hit like that.
To the 15, second and 10. Over 10 minutes consumed in this drive. Back to Fargas. He gets 5 more to the 10-yard line. Brings up third down and 5.
A gain of 5.
And remember where we were just 2 plays ago after that holding penalty on Carlisle. This offense backed up pretty good. A tough run, albeit with a pretty good hit at the end of it by McCown, and then another nice run by Fargas puts them in the part of the field where they've learned to really use this young tight end out of Arizona State, Miller.
Haven't gone to him yet. Zach Miller, number 80. He's lined up on the right side and now shifts out to the left. Empty backfield, third and 5. McCown underneath, complete. It's to Porter, and it's good for the first down. He's inside the 5. On the 19th play of this drive, from the 1 all the way down to the Colts 4.
Well, we've talked about the Raiders only rushing 3 and going with a zone blitz look. Watch the zone blitz. Klecko bails, only rushing 3. Don't get the pressure they need. And down the field, the coverage isn't able to get that one last player, Porter, crossing into the middle right in front of Klecko, the defensive tackle who dropped into the zone.
They have 4 shots from inside the 4. They get on the board. 11.5-minute drive. McCown has to hurry now. Caught from behind, and that's going to be called an incomplete pass. So he saved the sack as Jeff Charleston.
In the process of making a forward pass.
You're looking at
regardless of it going backwards, it's still an incomplete forward pass.
He's a mind reader.
Down.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Thank you, Gerald Austin. Regardless of it going backwards, that was a forward pass.
He was being hit from behind by Charleston, and fortunate are the Raiders here.
But listen to these names you're talking about here, Dick.
That was
Thomas and Charleston and Johnson and Dawson.
Not Mathis and Freeney and Brock and Booger McFarland. Second and goal. McCown underneath, complete to Curry, touchdown. What a drive by the Raiders, the drive of the season for them.
Does that qualify as a touchdown drive or a quarter?
Yeah, both of those fall into place as Curry pays off this 99.5-yard drive in 20 plays.
All set up by that beautiful play by Thomas Howard in the end zone, denying UTEP that touchdown pass, and a lot of hard running by Justin Fargas.
Janikowski adds the extra point. What a momentum switch from the Colts on the doorstep of a 17-0 lead. It's now a 3-point game. And Welcome back, Lake Merritt here on the east side of the bay in Oakland, California. Water's clear now quickly. As TJ rushing deep, he has a 90-yard punt return touchdown. That's the difference in the game. He comes up to collect it at the 4-yard line. Fumble the ball, and it's picked up by one of the Colts, Ramon Guzman, and Guzman, running like a fullback, advances it to the 35-yard line. Oh, that would have really been a turnabout had the Raiders fallen on that loose ball. A reminder, stay tuned. The Sprint halftime report. JB and company have all the latest NFL scores, all the early scores, and the highlights, including Miami's first win of the season coming up on this Sprint halftime report. From the 35, Peyton Manning, who has been chilled here with that long drive, fires underneath, and it's complete to Roma Shadu. And Shadu wrestled down at the 44, a gain of 9. It was interesting, they just gave the highlights of the early games on the big scoreboard here, and the biggest crowd noise and reaction by far was when Miami was announced as a winner. The fans here rooting for the Dolphins, and you can imagine they didn't cheer the New England result. Adai didn't need much and gets about 3 and a first down at the 48-yard line as we approach the 2-minute warning.
That's what they need, Dick. That's what this offense has to do. When they're giving them that soft 2 look with a 7 men in the box, Indy has to prove to Oakland that they'll run the ball at will with only 7 people up front.
Adai, 5 carries is all and only 5 yards. Fake to him. Manning going long. It's for Roma Shadu, and he was well covered. Nnamdi Asamoah, terrific corner on the coverage. 2-minute timeout. Back in Oakland, this is fun. You can watch NFL players tell their personal stories and help decide what will be this year's NFL Super Bowl commercial. It's only at NFL.com/superad. Now here's Manning and the Colts at their own 48-yard line against the number 5 pass defense in the league, the Raiders. 10-7, the Indianapolis lead. And Manning goes down for the first time. And only the 18th sack of the season as Derek Burgess, who has been a terror off the edge, has his 6th sack of the season.
Burgess does a nice job, lines up there, and just comes around on a stunt game. Gives it an early hit, never gets a chance, never gets picked up, and takes advantage of the pass blocking or lack thereof.
Arm hit, this should be intercepted, and it is by Howard, and he's tackled immediately. Burgess hit Manning as he threw the ball, and Howard has his 6th interception of the year, a linebacker with 6. And he's the man who saved the touchdown earlier.
That's a team interception. Burgess had the sack, he gets the arm, and Howard comes away with the candy.
We want to thank the MetLife Blimp, providing aerial coverage of all the drama below. Look for Snoopy 1, Snoopy 2 when they pass over a town near you. Thomas Howard with his 6th interception. He told us yesterday, oh, Peyton Manning, he's the greatest. If I could intercept him, I might ask him to autograph it.
Yeah, good luck on that one.
From the 46, trailing 10-7. They've got all their timeouts. And McCowan throws this one to the sidelines incomplete. Looking for Jerry Porter. Isn't it nice to see that sunshine bleed through the clouds here of the East Bay when you look at all the weather that we watched in the earlier games?
You shivered watching TV, seeing Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I mean, it was some bad stuff. And you look at this. See, it only says 99 on there for drive because you can't say 99 yards, 1 foot and 6 inches.
He couldn't get much longer. That ball was nosing on the goal line when the Colts tried to go in on 4th and inches. Give it to Dominique Rhodes, and Rhodes, the ex-Indianapolis Colt, able to pick up about 6.5 on that carry before Keontae Dawson made the tackle. So hurrying up now with 1:01 final minute now, this first half. Gordon short. McCown scrambles and looks, throws incomplete. His target was actually stumbling forward, Rhodes, and falling on the ground, but he had to get rid of it. Well, at least he thought so.
It may sound sacrilegious, and they're going to punt, but you have to at least, if it wasn't Peyton Manning on the other sideline, if this was your average offense on the other sideline, you'd have to think about letting Janikowski try a field goal. So, I mean, that sounds crazy. But Lane Kiffin said, you know, I've got faith the guy can probably get close. It's from 75.
And this would be a 65-yard field goal, and going in the direction that Janikowski favors. Here's Leckler. His last punt was returned for a touchdown, 90 yards by P.J. Rushing. And Rushing fields it at the 4-yard line. Fair catches at the 4. Colts have 43 seconds left in the half. Ball at the 5-yard line. There is some weather forecast for later tonight. Some rain on its way to the Bay Area, but a beautiful afternoon. Temperature in the mid-50s, and these Raider fans and occasional Colts fan seeing an entertaining first half. What will Manning and the Colts, how much will they gamble here with seconds remaining, 43, and all 3 timeouts?
If he gets man coverage, he won't hesitate to throw it down the field.
Chris Carr playing a deep safety at the 25. They give it to a guy, breaks a tackle, and skitters out to the 10-yard line in the arms of Thomas Howard. Timeout is called, and that allows us to bring you these important words. For this weekend, only 2 games left. The playoff stakes are high, and you'll be brought up to date on all the scores and highlights on the Sprint halftime report. Stay tuned at the intermission. 2nd down and 5. The timeout was called by the Raiders. Manning down again at the 9-yard line. And that'll be ruled a sack for Gerard Warren, who had 3 sacks, all of them against Denver. And another timeout spent by the Raiders. They want another chance before the intermission. The Raider Nation includes all ages. And here's a big play for the defense. 3rd down and 6 facing Manning and the Colts. Goes underneath. Nope, incomplete. Clark had it for a moment, and then it squirted loose, and that stops the clock with 26 seconds. So, with a man who can kick him about as far as anyone who's ever played the game, Janikowski in the Raider uniform, and he's getting ready. The Oakland will get decent field position, you would think, out of this punt from Hunter Smith.
A nice closing job by Chris Johnson. The DB, 37, just comes right over the top and dislodges that ball and knocks it loose, and should set the Raiders up at least in field goal territory.
First punt of the afternoon for Hunter Smith, with Johnny Lee Higgins at midfield for the Raiders. They're coming after him, but he gets it off. High end over end. Higgins catches it at the 43, and that's all he will get, although the front rush, the first wave from the Colts, apparently didn't touch him down. So it's a get up and go. Too late.
Well, you've got 15 seconds to go. You've got a timeout. Probably realistically,
now
you're about, let's call it 15, 17 yards from where it wouldn't be an outer limits crazy kind of a kick.
But if Higgins had called for a fair catch there, it would be at the 44, and they could have a free kick, which for Janikowski, that's no one trying to rush you. You just tee it up, and, well, someone has to tee it up for you. You can't use a tee, and that would have been a 57-yard field goal. That would have, 67, excuse me, with the 10 yards of the end zone. Certainly within his range. He's kicked them that deep on, and farther from the 30-yard line, he's put it in the end zone.
Get to the 45 to tie the NFL record.
Here's the throwback, and it's complete to Rhodes. Rhodes at the 40, and hit hard by Tim Jennings at the 43-yard line. And the Raiders spend their final timeout. Probably the last play they have coming up. Now, Janikowski, just to show you the strength of his leg, take a look at this. This is 64 yards an attempt, and it isn't as if he just missed. Look how high up on the upright that landed. 64 yards, the all-time NFL mark is 63.
You have to be impressed, too, not only with his leg, but I think this football team, the mental resiliency Lane Kiffin's group has shown today. You get down 10-zip to the defending world champions. You're about to go down 17-0. You could, I mean, worst case scenario here is you go down, you go in at halftime down by 3 points. That's not a bad thing for this football team. This is what I talked about earlier in that standing toe-to-toe and having an answer. Lane Kiffin's football team, after that 10-zip start, has found an answer for the Colts.
Suppose it's a quick out and hope that they can get out of bounds and get Janikowski on the field. No, apparently not. And it is incomplete with 1 second still on the clock.
Now how about you bring Jamarcus Russell in and let him throw the ball down into the end zone, because it's well within his range throw-wise.
Yeah, he told us 80 yards doesn't faze him. But doesn't look prepared to go, does he?
They said if the situation was right, they would use him not only in the first half but the second half, so we can chalk up one half. But Lane Kiffin has every intention of playing this young man if the game situation allows.
So final play, unless there's a penalty, defensive penalty here in the first half, and McCown crank it up. Now he's going to run it now. And well, here we go with a backyard play, but it's covered by Rhodes, and that's the end of the half.
And why not just chunk it down the field with the young kid?
At the break, 10-7 Indianapolis. We'll be back with a Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. With the Colts leading 10-7, the emotions that swing on the goal line stand, and the Raiders right back into it, and they played some very good defense against Manning and the Colts.
They really did, and by virtue of that 11-minute plus drive they had right after that goal line stand, Peyton Manning and the Colts only had 9 plays in the second quarter. Peyton Manning was 1 of 5 for 9 yards in the second quarter, and offensively, the Colts had 14 yards rushing, especially against primarily 7-man fronts. If you can't run against a 7-man front in this league, you can't run at all.
As you look at the first half numbers, and we remind you today's game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Chris Carr deep as the Raiders trying to build off the momentum of that second quarter. We'll get the ball first here to open the second half. And Jamarcus Russell, the #1 draft pick in the last draft, and he's acting as though he's going to get a chance to play here in the opening series of this second half. We'll see.
Or he's tired of his beanie.
Here's the kick by Vinatieri. Coming down to Carr at the 4. Chris Carr tackled at the 26-yard line by Luke Lawson. And here comes Jamarcus Russell, and the crowd acknowledges their #1 pick. The young man is a college starter, 25-4. His nickname is Little Pep because as a youngster he admired Dante Culpepper, his teammate now, and Pep is Dante's nickname. So here's Little Pep. He's hardly little.
In order to look up to Dante, he's got to sit in a chair.
6'6" and 255. So a series of plays or maybe more. He gives to Fargas, and Fargas continues to rattle up good ground gains as Taiwan Hagler makes the tackle. Fargas with 62 yards rushing in the game as he's approaching the 1,000-yard mark.
Remember, Dick, with Jamarcus Russell in the game, it's not the regular program. It's not the regular game plan. You know, Lane Kiffin says it's not a light game plan. It's just in certain situations we've limited the number of plays that he actually focus on.
Second down, 6. And the handoff again. This time to Rhodes, and Rhodes able to bully his way across the 35 to the 37, and he's got a first down. His one other appearance in the NFL, Jamarcus Russell, was against Denver 2 weeks ago. He threw 7 passes, completed 4 for 56 yards. And he had to run out of desperation 3 times and 4 yards rushing the ball.
And as you saw them do here to open the second half, they ran the ball extremely well against Denver. They bludgeoned the Broncos.
And they were dominating throughout that entire second quarter in that 11-minute plus drive. Rhodes hit this time right at the line of scrimmage, gets a yard in the grasp of John Thomas, his former teammate. Thomas, who grew up in Orchard Lake, New York. He told us as a Buffalo Bills fan and admiring Bruce Smith, he'd be playing out in the yard on Sunday. His house was so close to the stadium he could hear the cheers. He could tell whether the Bills were winning or not by the noise.
It floored me when he talked about playing catch during that Buffalo-Houston Oilers, the comeback game.
Wasn't that in January?
Yeah, that's what I said. He said January. He goes, hey, I grew up in Orchard Park. Didn't matter when you played outside.
On second down, first pass for Russell. Underneath, incomplete. Sanders covering the tight end, Zach Miller.
But it was nice pressure, too. A nice rush by Josh Thomas coming from the top.
They say that Russell is by nature very soft-spoken. So one of the many challenges for him as a professional, man, you got to be a little louder with your call and let us know what you're really thinking. Not in the huddle so much. He's fine. They say has good command there, but up at the line of scrimmage.
You really have to learn, even in the huddle too, Dick. You've got to turn up the bass and the volume.
Third down and 10 at the 37. Out of the shotgun. Wings this one incomplete, and he almost took the hand of Chris McFoy with it. Oh, does he have a big arm. That seemed to handcuff McFoy.
When we watched them Friday at practice, they dropped several of his passes. I know my comment to you at that point was, if you're playing receiver, you better bring your concentration hands, because your hands had better be ready. And that's a great example. Jamarcus puts it in a perfect spot. That should have been a first down. That should have been a catch.
Leckler has had a 90-yard return against his punt by T.J. Rushing and gave up one last week against Green Bay, or his special teams mates did. A fair catch Rushing at the 15-yard line. A 48-yard kick. Rushing must have wondered if it'll ever come down. Marks to the Raider defense. Only 4 possessions for the Raiders, or for the Colts in the first half. And no touchdowns. How often do you see that from a Manning-led offense? They did get the field goal and the punt return by Rushing of 90 yards. But no scoring off the arms of Manning, who starts from his own 16-yard line. Under pressure. Has to dump it off to a die, and a die out to the 25, 26-yard line and close to that yellow mark and a first down. Well, let's switch from NFL to NCAA basketball next Saturday, 2 East on CBS.
Hopefully my Bruins will find somebody to coach the football team here pretty quick.
Michigan apparently has their football coach, Rich Rodriguez from West Virginia. A die goes down, and so does a flag from Jerry Austin.
Tripping. Number 24 of the defense, 10 yards, first down.
Michael Huff, the safety, a little leg whip.
That's a natural reaction, Dick. When you get past the play, here's Michael Huff right here lined up, and as he moves this way, he'll overrun it. Trying to come underneath Jake Scott. He actually leg whipped Jake Scott, the lead blocker, more than he got the ball carrier.
Scott
right
says,
there.
I need to be protected too.
I mean, he gets a little trip on a dive, but he absolutely just cuts his legs out from underneath Jake Scott with the leg whip.
Penalty to the 35-yard line, first down and 10. Manning again, pressured, has to dump it off incomplete to Dallas Clark, who is being hounded by Thomas Howard.
Yeah, these Raider linebackers, you can talk about what this team needs, and they do have needs when it comes to defense, and they have needs when it comes to offense. But one place they don't need much help, talent infusion, is going to be the linebacker position. They're set there for a while with Morrison and Howard and company.
Howard in his second year, Morrison in his third. Both are 25 or younger. Second and 10. Screen it. It's to Adai. And Adai fights his way to the 43. 2 yards shy of the first down. Gerard Warren, the big tackle trailing the play, makes the stop. He's had a good game.
Yeah, he's going against this cold offensive line. It's not what you'd call ballyhooed. You talked about Jeff Saturday. He's the lone member that gets much recognition, but up front they do so many things well. They've run blocked extremely well in the past. They protect the quarterback very well. You just saw one of the things probably they do as well, if not better than anybody, and that's block on the screen.
Forward progress to the 44. Third and 1. Satt comes in to bolster the center of that defensive line. And Manning going to throw over the middle. Wide open is UTEP. And he is hammered at the 34. Holds on to it. First down. Hiram Eugene made the tackle, but no one picked up UTEP, the tight end, and Manning floated a beautiful pass right into his arms. 22-yard gain.
Well, Ben Utek lines up right here and just heads right up the field. This has got to be some sort of a blown assignment, blown defense. No one even runs with him. Great pickup by Peyton Manning. A nice hit, but so what? Try preventing the 25, 30-yard game. Don't worry about the big hit.
First down at the 34. Kenton Keith in the backfield for a die. Keith, who has rushed for 450 yards, is the backup to a die from New Mexico State and the Canadian Football League. He gets the carry and fights his way for 9 down to the 25-yard line. Sapp and Sam Williams with a tackle.
Now there's an example of the defense getting in that soft look where you have the 4 DBs back and the 7 in the box and the offense just powering through on the run. That's what you need to do against this defense. They have 7 in the proverbial box. You've got to take your 5, 6, 7 people and make the run work.
Second and a short 2 as Keith gets 8+ on his first carry of the game. The longest rush of the day for Indianapolis. Quick slant to Gonzalez. 10, 5, and inside the 5 before Fabian Washington can deny the touchdown. Oh, what a perfect throw on the mark to Gonzalez as he made his break.
You know, we're talking about the players in the box. Well, Huff comes down, so that's going to make 8 in the box. 8 in the box. That means you got to go ahead and throw it. Don't try to run it. Perfect call by Peyton Manning.
Threads it through a lot of black jerseys and a 23-yard game.
And Gonzalez has come a long way for a rookie. I guess here in week 15 he's no longer a rookie, but he's really come up.
First and goal at the 3-yard line. Manning throws it away. Flag in the end zone.
Yeah, it's going to be against Chris Carr, safety.
Samoa covering Aroma Shadu. How's that for a mouthful?
Holding number 23 of the defense. Half a distance to the goal. First down.
Carr playing that deep safety spot throughout the game, seeing more and more defensive duty for the Raiders.
Here's Chris Carr and Reggie Wayne, and as they say in the alligator wrestling business, he got a hold of him. Got him with that left hand. He's not letting him get away.
Half the distance to the goal, so it's about a 1.5 yard penalty. Lawton and Adai in the backfield make it Kenton Keith, and it's Keith straight on to the 1-yard line and perhaps inside. Well, this is where the Raiders dug in that second quarter and stopped the Colts on a first and goal situation. Remember, Manning scrambled and thought he had a touchdown, but on the hit was stopped just shy on the challenge, overruled the touchdown. And then on the next play, 4th and inches, the Raiders stopped the Colts, and that was the beginning of the 99-yard scoring drive that got them right into the game. 10-7, second and goal. A dive, and he is rejected. Kirk Morrison and Sam Williams there to bolster the defensive thrust of the men in front of them.
There were 2 things at the end of the season last year and into the playoffs that the Colts did better than anybody else. Number 1 was play defense. Number 2 was run power football plays. They gutted New England in that second half. They did the same thing to the Bears in the Super Bowl. And that offensive line just hasn't had the power running card really at their disposal yet this year.
Third and goal. Adai, a tailback. Manning looking for Clark. He's covered. Now he has to throw it away. And the crowd roars as again the Raiders tough down inside the 5.
You know, Dick, you were talking earlier about rushing 3 and dropping people and how the area shrinks. Watch the area in the back there, the black that says Raiders. Now, as he scrambles, the field's now a half. Now it's a third. Now it's a quarter. Now the only part of the field you have to throw in is that little tiny slice. And he has to throw it away. That is very nice defense. That's you playing zone with a little man underneath and doing it perfectly.
Now this is a concession of sorts by the Colts to come out for the field goal, and Vinatieri drives it through. That one shorter than an extra point. But another great defensive stand by the Raiders. Manning not happy with 3. Fame Bay Bridge leading from the Oakland side back to the city of San Francisco as we welcome you back to the Oakland Coliseum, where The Raiders defense has been prominent. They've put a good shackle on Peyton Manning and the offense of the Colts, but Indianapolis, thanks to a 90-yard punt return touchdown, leading 13-7. Here's Chris Carr on the kickoff return. Gets to the outside and running room there. 30 and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Run out by rookie Brandon Archer. And here comes Jamarcus Russell. We'll see how he does right after this. In Oakland, midpoint of the third quarter. The Raiders with the ball, trailing by 6. And the number 1 pick in the draft, Jamarcus Russell from LSU is the quarterback. And he's fires into the flat, complete to his fullback Griffith. And he's to the 44-yard line, a gain of 6. Well, the AFC playoff picture with New England winning today to continue their unbeaten string, clinching a playoff berth. Indianapolis needs a win to clinch the AFC South and bye in the first week.
Yeah, the bye is the big thing, especially with the health of this football team, especially on defense. Everyone talks about Marvin Harrison, but defensively they need to get as healthy as bad as anything.
2nd and 4. Vargas with the handoff, and he doesn't get much at it all. Well, it's 13-7 here on the east side of the Bay. Let's go all the way to New York for this.
Back to Dick and Randy.
All right, JB, thank you. Donovan McNabb pleased with that surprising lead in Dallas. Only 3 points for Romo and the Cowboys. 3rd down and 5 for Jamarcus Russell. Wings this one out of bounds. He had Jerry Porter over there, but he could feel the pressure, and that one not close. So Jamarcus Russell inauspicious in his second performance as a Raider.
You know, it's also not bad when you have a head coach who can catch.
And he could.
We talk about all these free agents on Tony Dungy's defense. Tony was a free agent in Pittsburgh for Chuck Noll.
Out of the University of Minnesota. And as a defensive back, had 9 interceptions in 3 years.
I love his story about no numbers on the jerseys in practice.
We got to repeat that. There's Leckler hitting one a ton, but it bounces into the end zone and a touchback for the Colts. 57 minus 20, 37 yards. Tony Dungy, his team trying to win 12 for 5 consecutive years. Patrons in the black hole, but it's nice to see how much more family-oriented this Raider crowd has become, and that's part of a master plan to make this a happier place for all. You can come and cheer, dress as you like, but enough of the bully stuff. Manning from his 20, down the middle, wide open is Wayne. 40 and 45, 50 into the 49 of the Raiders. Chris Carr made the tackle, and beautifully run pattern, and Manning right on the money again.
It's just amazing how well this offense executes no matter what. And Reggie Wayne spent a pretty good number of seasons being the other guy to Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison gets hurt, and now he's the A receiver. Gonzalez is the B, and Clark is kind of the BB receiver.
3 catches today, leads the Colts with 81 on the season. Down the sidelines and incomplete to Wayne. A report on Ben Utek, the tight end for the Colts. He's left the field to play with a shoulder injury, and it's questionable as to whether or not he'll return. So the injury.
Black and the offense wore gold, and there were no numbers, and the coaches just judged you on what you could or couldn't do. It wasn't about the number and the person.
Howard Clark, well, he didn't catch the ball. He was jammed just as the ball arrived. And the whole point of that, just to follow up for Chuck Noll, was to tell his coaches and his scouts, judge what you see, not the reputation or what you've heard about somebody or some test that shows him faster or more agile. Look for the player that might perform well on the field. And that's exactly what Dungy has done with this Colts team.
He and Bill Polian get players that can just flat play football. May not have all the sexy numbers and statistics, but they can play.
And a ton of free agents on the roster. 3rd and 10. Underneath to Adad. And he doesn't get enough for the first down. Tackled at the 44-yard line. Chris Carr and Michael Huff. And Manning and the Colts leave the field. The punt team on. Manning told us that for the last 3-4 years, to punt the ball was an insult to our offense. We felt like we should never have the punting team on the field. But this year, with so many injuries, he said we have to adjusting to the fact that we're not always going to move the ball the way we
How many
did.
other teams have that long a run of more touchdowns than punts during the season?
This is the 4th straight year. The kick by Smith. Johnny Lee Higgins, fair catch at the 13-yard line. This year, 47 touchdowns, 44 punts for Indianapolis. Looking down on the 62,000-seat McAfee Coliseum from our MetLife blimp. Snoopy 2 up there providing today's aerial coverage. The blimp travels over 60,000 miles a year to cover sporting events and television specials throughout the U.S. of A. Raiders trail by 6. First down at the 14. Jamarcus Russell complete to Griffith, his fullback, and he's toppled after a gain of about 3 by Tywan Hagler.
Justin Griffith.
Tomorrow, folks, on CBS, a Miami crime scene goes up in flames. And from the
Here's Dick going with the defensive tackle, Reed, 95 at right defensive end.
Again, they've been decimated, especially in that defensive line. Fargas runs into his own blocker and ad-libs his way across the 20 to the 23. A yard short of a first down. Gary Brackett, the tackler. Brackett leading the Colts on the season with 131 tackles, always around the ball.
Well, Brackett and Bob Sanders are the only starters from that Super Bowl just this last February that are still out here starting for the Indianapolis Colts. You see, whether through injury or free agency, it's getting kind of lonely out there in the defensive huddle for people with Super Bowl jewelry.
Harper and Cato June, the free agency, but the other 7 due to injury. Hit in the backfield is Fargas this time, and he doesn't make it. Freddie Keaho, who's had a huge game at linebacker, second year from San Diego State. A college teammate of Kirk Morrison. I think they're trying to match numbers today.
There's Freddie Keaho right there, 54, right next to Bob Sanders. 8 in the box. There's a good reason they say you shouldn't run against 8 in the box. There's a good faceful of reason for Justin Fargas.
Brings out punting team and Shane Leckler to kick it again to T.J. Rushing. Rushing eases up to the 25. And big field, and Leckler hits a high booming kick. Could be returned, 28. And he started inside and made his error there. Had he continued inside, Rushing had a little running room, but not outside after a 49-yard punt. 4 on the return. Manning and the offense back on the field for Indianapolis. Next Sunday, a doubleheader on CBS than any other network. Manning throws underneath, incomplete. Intended for Brian Fletcher. So Fletcher, the third string tight end at 6'5" and 230 from UCLA, has replaced Ben Utecht, backing up Dallas Clark.
And we looked at earlier the AFC pickage, Dick, and looks pretty settled. You know, the Giants play tonight against Washington. They can lock themselves up a wild card spot with a win against the Redskins.
Second down and 10. Defense continues to make life miserable for Peyton Manning. Offense does not have a touchdown today. Manning down the sidelines, incomplete to Gonzalez. Was hoping that Gonzalez would pull up. That ball thrown off his sideline shoulder. Fabian Washington covering him well.
You know, normally the Indianapolis Colts and these receivers and Peyton Manning for Tony Dungy lick their chops when they see man coverage. I mean, they'll absolutely drool if they've seen man coverage 80% of the plays today, and they have not been able to take advantage of it because of the excellent technique and very nice coverage by these Raiders defensive backs.
Now the Raiders have stopped the run, and that has been uncharacteristic. The passing defense has been outstanding all year, and here's the rush and the sack. It was Chris Clemens who leads the Raiders in sacks, and he now has 7 for the season, and the 3rd against Manning today.
Well, you see the rush come the way it does, and you see the wide rushers coming. But watch as these receivers run down the field. Where is Peyton Manning supposed to go with the ball? Can't go there, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. Maybe right there, but that doesn't give you a first down.
So in comes Hunter Smith to punt it to Johnny Lee Higgins. Higgins has room to run at the 28. 30. Oh, he was about to sprint into the clear at the 40 when he was tripped up. but good field position for the Raiders offensively, trailing by only 6. And a reminder tonight on 60 Minutes, you'll be fans. We're hoping to see more of young Russell. But, you know, a little baptism here. It's 2 games now.
Well, he can't catch it and throw it, and he can't call the plays.
Empty backfield. McCown comes out at the 40-yard line. 4 wides to the right. Underneath, complete to the tight end, Miller, and a first down as he fights his way to the 48 on the Colts half of the field. Freddie Keaho, another tackle. Well, since Manning came into the league 10 years ago out of Tennessee, there are the Oakland quarterbacks.
Wow.
Donald Hollis. $11 different starting quarterbacks for the Raiders. Manning 158 consecutive starts, never missed a start with the Colts. First down. Vargas grabbed by the jersey and tackled from the side by Keaho again. Oh, he's having a field day. He's the man that replaced Cato June, one of those Colts who left Indianapolis after the Super Bowl win.
Well, and he's such a fine example defensively of how you run to the ball, and you get a young quarterback like Jamarcus Russell in there. He tries to get some semblance of a running game going. It's the linebackers like Keaho and Brackett that won't let that happen. I mean, if you can't get the running game going when you have a young quarterback, you're going to have a hard time getting any kind of an offense going.
Vargas, a big hole to the 40 and a first down at the Colts 37. And Vargas closing in on the 1,000-yard mark. He's just a handful of yards away. In fact, just 3.
Nice formula right here. Vargas goes right through the gap. Good execution. Keaho runs out of the play. And when Keaho 54 goes out of the play, Vargas runs right straight through the hole for a big gain.
Now got 997 yards on an outstanding season, this hard-running tailback from Southern California. This is very similar to that 99-yard drive, isn't it? They power on the ground. And Vargas goes over the 1,000-yard mark with that run. Does 2 things. They keep driving toward a possible go-ahead touchdown, and they're keeping Peyton and Manning and the Colts offense on the sidelines. End of 3 in Oakland, 13-7 Colts. Peyton talking over business as these fans try to razz him a bit. And meanwhile, the Raiders have driven to a 2nd and 4 at the Colts 31, trailing by only 6. Back to Vargas. And you go wide, you run into the speed, and with Sanders cutting off the corner and Gary Brackett making the tackle.
Yeah, you can work the edges on this defense pretty effectively with your running game, going off the tackle, maybe going off the tight end. But when you start running parallel, LaDainian Tomlinson has a hard time going parallel against this defense.
No gain, 3rd and a long 3, closer to 4. 118 yards rushing for the Raiders and only 21 for the Colts today. McCown. Wide open and complete to Curry. And they're going to rule it a catch. Sanders didn't think so.
Well, Sanders was shielded by the catch by Curry's body, because Curry, as he curls his body around, gets his hands cleanly under the ball.
And a first down at the 21-yard line. Big 3rd down play there. It's Griffith, the fullback, getting a call, and he has again almost 3. Gary Brackett, the tackler, as we get an update in New York.
Big and ran.
All right, JB, celebration has begun. LaDainian with that victorious smile as the Chargers just a quarter or so away from clinching the AFC West.
Who'd have thought after that first month or so of the Chargers season?
Griffith again, this time on the catch. And he's out of bounds at the 13-yard line. That'll be 2 yards shy of the first down. Keaho again, the tackler.
And the thing I like about this AFC playoff picture is how fluid things still are. Obviously, with Jacksonville beating Pittsburgh earlier today, if somehow Indy can come back and win this game, they can get that number 2 shot. But as you can see right there, the 3rd playoff spot is still very much in play, and it goes 3 and 6 instead of playing 4 in the #1 wild card team, so it does make a difference.
Chargers, if they win, will be 9 and 5, equal with the Steelers.
Well, you want Jacksonville or you want Cleveland?
Yeah, that's the point. And here's the handoff to Fargas, and he catapults his way to a first down. That's the hard running that has brought the admiration of his teammates throughout the season and his coach Lane Kiffin. They had Lamont Jordan, they had Dominique Rhodes, but this is the man who has won the job with his hard play.
Well, he's getting really good blocking, too. Gets a nice block outside from Griffin. Get a nice block at tight end by the rookie Miller. And then just spins and gives up his body.
First and goal, the ball just on the 10-yard line, so the Raiders need the full 10 here, as young Lane Kiffin has this team much improved, although the record doesn't illustrate how much that has. Here's McCown. Play action. Oh, good little move there. And now he has to throw it away off the back barrier.
It's going to be a late hit out of bounds.
Flag down?
Yep. It's going to be against Pitcock.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughing. Number 97 of the defense. Opposition to the goal. Automatic first down.
Rookie Quinn Pitcock of Ohio State, 97.
I mean, it's just silly. That's being a rookie. That's not having your wits about you. You launch your body, and you basically spear the quarterback almost all the way out of the white part of the outside line.
Penalty takes it half the distance, so it's first and goal now from the 5. McCown confused about the play call.
Either that or the headset. Well, the headset was turned off. They had to come in and give him the change quick.
Fargas. Look at him battle for an extra
Ball's
half
on the
yard.
ground.
And they're trying to pull it away as he was up right there. The Colts are ripping at the grasp, and Bob Sanders in the thick of it.
They got the ball out. Somebody in the scrum's got that thing.
The Raiders, second and goal. And that's the risk of running as hard as he does and just won't go down, that eventually you get him straightened in a crowd and you try to rip it away.
Coming from the outside. Watch the blow come into Fargas right there.
Oh, it was down on the ground.
Yep. Kelvin Hayden came in and just smacked him.
Fargas fortunate. He felt it between his legs and was able to recover. Fargas hit in the backfield. That was Quinn Pitcock, who makes amends for his personal foul and denies Justin Fargas.
Pitcock does a good job coming from that right defensive tackle spot. In fact, you can see that helmet suddenly pop up as he charges forward. He does a really nice job coming right there at that defensive tackle spot. Once he pops up, he's got nothing but 25 in his sights.
How about Sanders come flying over the pile? Third and goal from the 2. 3 tight ends. But it's Fargas again, and he's got the touchdown. What a display by this Raider team. So close to being down 17-0 and maybe emotionally out of the game. But a goal line stand, a 99-yard drive, and much of it inspired by this man, Justin Fargas, and his hard running.
Well, Pitcock tried to come from that backside defensive tackle spot, and he had to because everybody onside was covered with a body being blocked.
Janikowski for the lead, and the Raiders for the first time are in front 14-13. 94 yards rushing for Justin Fargas and a go-ahead touchdown. Lane Kiffin takes his entire team out on the field, gives them a final note or two, and that, of course, had this crowd erupting all the more. Meanwhile, on the negative side, they've been working on the right knee of Justin Fargas, who really sells out on every run. And here's Janikowski, leads the league in touchbacks, but this one will be returned by T.J. Rushing. Rushing with a flag down at the 23-yard line, And that one is going to involve a penalty against the Colts.
It's going to involve backing up.
During the return, illegal block from behind. Number 33. After this is the goal, first down.
So after that 60-yard drive, it took 6 minutes, 40 seconds. Fargus with the score and the lead.
Stay tight.
These Raider fans, young and old, are fired up for their Oakland team. They played so well both sides of the ball, the Raiders, and with the penalty, Peyton Manning and the Colts down by one, open this series at their own 9-yard line. Manning is 15 for 31 in the game. Rarely is he under 50% in a ball game. From the goal line. Has to dump it off to a die in the flat, and he's out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Thomas Howard covering.
The last time the Colts had the ball, it was incomplete, sack, a lot of pressure. The missing ingredients, the running game. I mean, McCown for the Raiders, their quarterback has 16 yards rushing. Joseph Adai has 9.
Totally stopped the running game of the Colts. Second down and 6. Underneath, the short yardage to Gonzalez. And that'll be 3 yards shy of the first down as Fabian Washington has been on his man all day. He just has worn the jersey of Gonzalez or whomever he may be covering.
Well, they stayed away from Nnamdi Asomugha on the other side.
Big 3rd and 3. We're under 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. The Raiders with a 1-point lead. For Wayne. Did he catch that? Oh my, what a play by Reggie Wayne over Nnamdi Asomugha.
That's ridiculous. How he gets that. He looks like he brings it in with one hand. Peyton puts it on the back shoulder.
19-yard play and a quick snap by Manning. They didn't want to take a look at whether or not Wayne had control along the sidelines. Let's see if he did.
That's a smart play by Peyton Manning, as you know he will do. One-handed, he came down. Now, it's not going to be reviewed because they've run a play. Look at that.
Incredible.
He's got it. He's down. If you reviewed it, there'd be questions, but the play's already been run, and that just goes down in the books as one fabulous catch.
Second down and 7. Manning to Clark, his first catch. And Clark down the sidelines for a first down to the 47-yard line. Asomugha, the defender.
Now, how often does it happen week to week doing these games when you notice, hey, they haven't really tested so-and-so very much, and the last 2 plays have been right at Nnamdi Asomugha.
Who doesn't get a lot of work because he's been so outstanding and earned that reputation deservedly a year ago with 8 interceptions. 6'2" corner, very good speed, so he's tough to beat. Manning throws underneath to Gonzalez, and he's inside the 45 for a 9-yard gain. A reminder, coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show with JB and Company for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, a wrap-up of the day, all coming up on the Subway postgame show, time permitting.
Well, we know that down in Miami, they believe there's a Santa Claus. They got their first win. It'd be an equally big win if Oakland can pull this thing out.
Adai, who has been totally shut down, gets the handoff on the draw, able to break one tackle, get to the 40, inside the 35. That's some hard running. The first down at the 33. Chris Carr finally gets him to the turf.
And a very nice job by Reggie Wayne, the wide receiver, out blocking on Nnamdi Asomugha.
Midpoint of the fourth quarter with the Oakland Raiders rallying from 10-0 down and 13-7 behind with a touchdown here in the fourth quarter. 12 yards on that carry by Adai. He had 12 yards total in his first 10 carries today. Back to Adai, hit in the backfield. That's the way the Raiders have defended him throughout. Gerard Warren again And they're not able to block the 325-pound Warren.
There's 7 right there, and then Huff is just outside the picture. So they've got 8 in the box, and that's what 8 in the box should do when you're trying to run against it. The Raiders have stopped the run with 7, and they've stuffed the run with 8.
Adai now 1 yard away from joining Fargas with 1,000 yards. Underneath to Adai, hit immediately. Thomas Howard, another tackle for the speedy linebacker of the Raiders.
See, normally, as the weather cools down, people like to say, the running game heats up. Well, it hasn't been the case.
Here's Adai, and he's iced again as he hits the 24-yard line. Flag down. And Fabian Washington from the corner, slow getting up after making that tackle. This could be a very important penalty. Should it go a hold against the Colts, would move them out of field goal range.
Offside on the defense. The man did not get off the field, and he was on the offensive side of the ball. 5 yards. Repeat, third down.
Well, that was going to either be 12 men on the field or offside. Lane Kiffin couldn't quite make the substitution, and Manning so clever. He sees the total field and the quick snap, and he gets the 5-yard penalty. Saw Lane Kiffin, the Raiders struggling through a 6-game losing streak in the middle of the season. Then they rallied with wins against Denver and Kansas City. Were blown out by Green Bay last week. Kiffin called it the worst loss of the season, the worst his team's played, but they certainly have come back fighting today. 3rd down and a yard. Adai carries tackler. No, it's Kenton Keith carrying tacklers with him, and he has the first down to the 20-yard line. Keith at 198, actually the lightest of the 4 running backs for the Colts, but he found the hole that Adai has not.
I think Warwick Dunn has proven to a lot of people that weight's sort of a relative thing. You have the leverage and you have the intensity. The weight can be kind of overrated.
Keith, who played 4 years with Saskatchewan in the Canadian Football League, giving Adai a blow. First down at the 20. 11th play of the drive. We're down to 5 minutes remaining here in Oakland. Manning escapes the rush. Throws complete to Gonzalez. He's in the end zone for a touchdown. Oh, what articulation between thrower and catcher as Manning, off balance, still hit it in the exact right spot for Gonzalez to make the catch and spin into the end zone away from Washington.
Well, he throws the ball knowing his receiver is going to expect to have to make a heck of an adjustment physically. Washington cannot make the adjustment, cannot stop, and does not know that ball is being thrown back, unlike Dwight.
So the Colts are back in front, and now the extra point by Vinatieri. You go for 2? No, yes, you do. Gonzalez to the right. Clark is the tight end on the right side. Wayne split left. Adai. And Clark in the backfield with Manning. So Manning now has a chance to check the defense. He may be or may not be changing the play. Looking for 2. And gives to Adai, and Adai into the teeth of that defense of the Raiders, and he is in the end zone for 2. And barely so.
Wow, that was just a good power formation. Luke Lawton, 45 in there at fullback. You got Dallas Clark at right tight end. And they just powered in after Peyton Manning and Gonzalez. Great coordination.
Welcome back to Oakland. Vinatieri's kick comes down to Chris Carr. Carr at the 20 and to the 30. Still on his feet. Kicks free at the 40 and finally tackled forward at the 46-yard line. Excellent return by Chris Carr as the Raiders now 7 down, trailing the Colts 21-14. Less than 5 to go. Reminder, time permitting, coming up, we'll have the Subway postgame show with all of the day's scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Stay tuned. at the 45-yard line. The Raiders trailing 21-14 with 4:42 to go. McCown to throw to the sideline, and it's complete, but for short yardage. No, he gets away, Porter. Excellent job of evading a tackle, and finally Jeff Charleston brings him down. Good effort by Porter.
And also a good example of how this Indianapolis Colts defense operates, Dick. I mean, you have a missed tackle, and you always want to miss the tackle, turning the player back inside with this kind of a defense, because you know everyone else, starting with the defensive end, is going to be steaming out there to try to help you.
Ex-Colt Dominique Rhodes in the backfield now on 2nd and 3. He gets the ball and fights his way right to the yellow line. Looks as if he might have gotten the first down into the hold of Josh Thomas. Justin Fargas, as you saw, they were working on the right knee, and they've got it iced, so his return is questionable. He certainly paid the price today. 94 yards rushing for Fargas, and the touchdown that gave the Raiders the lead for the first time earlier here in the fourth quarter.
The key here for the Raiders is pretty obvious. Be smart with the ball with 3.5 minutes to go.
McCown fakes the handoff. Lots of time. Throws back underneath. Rhodes breaks the tackle at the 40. And he's near another first down. A yard shy at the 36 of the Indianapolis Colts. Freddie Keaho, another tackle. He's had a field day.
Nice job, though, by Rhodes. Jackson comes right over the top. Can't get a hold of Rhodes, and Rhodes slips away for an extra couple of yards. Holds on to the ball and gets the extra yards. That's exactly what you want to do in this situation.
The Raiders working against this patchwork defensive line of the Colts. All 4 starters at the start of the year injured or on the injured list. And here goes Rhodes, 25-20, and sprints to the 17-yard line before Matt Giordano can bring him down. There's Rhodes' biggest contribution of the season for the Oakland Raiders.
Look at the way they just run right off McQuiston, the right tackle. 79, Carlisle 66. That's just pure power running and power blocking.
Look at 36, Griffin. Oh, does he get a good block on Bob Sanders? 40 yards rushing for Rhodes today against his former teammates. He had only 24 yards on the entire season. McCown throws toward the end zone, incomplete. Oh, looked as if there might have been a little tug defensively in the end zone by Marlon Jackson. You can hear the fans booing.
It was Porter. Porter kind of half stumbled, fell, made it look like I think there was a little more contact than there was. He decides to roll back. See, he's pressing the action in. I don't think Jackson is holding him.
Just dancing with him.
But when a receiver spins your position into where you're standing, as a defender, he has no choice but to sort of accept the contact. He wasn't holding him.
From the 17, 2nd and 10 with 2.5 minutes to go. Rhodes dragged down from behind at the 16-yard line by Bob Sanders. A big play coming up here for the Raiders as we approach the 2-minute warning.
Everybody with all 3 timeouts, Colts and Raiders. Obviously, part of your thinking about the clock running and time is, you know, we'd sure love to score this touchdown if we do score this touchdown with as little time as possible for Peyton Manning and this offense to operate with.
They're not going to hurry into a play. They take it to the 2-minute timeout, trying to catch 21-14. The 4-9 Oakland Raiders trying to even the count against the 11-2 Indianapolis Colts. A big 3rd and 9 at the Indy 16-yard line.
They've really stood toe-to-toe with Indy. They've run the ball, and they have not turned the ball over.
On 3rd and 9, McCown goes to the end zone, and no one there but a Colt. And it was Kelvin Hayden who couldn't stay in bounds and get to the ball as well. Jerry Porter came up short on the play, and McCown perhaps thought he was going to go deep.
The way the Raiders used that clock leading up to the 2-minute warning was pretty much a tell and a declare that Lane Kiffin has decided that this possession is it for his football team. If you're worried about getting the ball back and conserving timeouts and everything else, You may handle things a little bit differently, but in this situation, 4th down right here, throw the ball into the end zone or at least to the 5-yard line.
Fargas on the bench, the star runner. 4th and 9. Here's the slant. Incomplete. And no flag. Jerry Porter covered by Kelvin Hayden.
There looked to be a little bit of contact by Kelvin Hayden on Porter as he came inside. You watch the left hand coming in.
Right hand on the
right
back.
hand on the 4. But it was, I guess, in the eyes of the official, not blatant. But he couldn't move that right arm because because his right hand, as this right hand comes in by Kelvin Hayden, he locks Porter's right arm to his side. He's got no shot at catching that one-handed.
So taking over on downs, these amazing Indianapolis Colts with a rash of injuries to star Pro Bowl players. They continue to play well enough to win, and they give this to Adai out to the 20-yard line protecting the ball. The Raiders do have their 3 timeouts to use, and they spend their first on 2nd and 5 at the 144 mark. Tonight on the season finale of Survivor China, it's the final 4 castaways, 3 tribal councils, 2 full hours, and 1 ultimate survivor, the winners, followed by a live reunion tonight after 60 minutes on CBS. And one of the questions left after this game will be the status of Justin Fargas, how serious that right knee injury is. He certainly kept the Raiders in the game with his tough runs inside. Now 2nd and 5, Adai at tailback behind Luke Lawton. He breaks a tackle. Still on his feet. And then the crowd goes down with a first down at the 34-yard line. And that'll really put the Raiders in a bind. They have to exercise their 2nd timeout. Now here's how it went. The first big play by T.J. Rushing, returning a punt 90 yards for a score and a 10-0 lead. And then the Colts were on the 1-foot line trying to go 17-0. They were stopped and back the other way 99 yards, paid off by Curry's touchdown catch. And then Fargas in the 4th quarter early with that run, another long drive, 14-13. But Gonzalez from Manning, and then a 2-point conversion run by Adai, accounting for the score 21-14. And Manning now has done the mathematics and figures that the Raiders will be forced to use their final timeout, and he just gives the first kneel down. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Tony Petitti. Today's game produced by Bob Monsbach, directed by Suzanne Smith. Senior producer of CBS Sports and NFL Today is Eric Mann. Director Bob Matina. Coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Lance Barrow. The coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Harold Bryant. The associate directors of today's game, Debbie Bulak and Kamani Morales. The broadcast associates are Brian Sealing and Curtis Pertlwitz. The technical manager, Doug Fleetum. The technical director, Chris Romanek. And the audio supervisor, Dave Gruntvig. Butch Baird with the numbers. Michael Burton, the player ID. And Max Greenspan, our researcher. And all the men and women from Oakland, hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. As the Indianapolis Colts are about to go 12-2, and with 12 wins, it will be 5 consecutive years. Never been done before in the 80-plus years of the NFL. A team winning 12 games, 5 consecutive years.
And they've won 10 games, all 6 of Tony Dungy's years.
As you see the Colts now with the victory today, assuring themselves of clinching the AFC South for the 5th consecutive time. Final seconds. Peyton Manning actually is going to give it off to Adai this time. And to the 35-yard line. Brings up 4th down. And did they get that off after 40 seconds? It might be about a second.
It's about a 2-second lapse.
So Tony Dungy's getting a lot of advice on the sidelines. He says, I know what we're going to do. It'll be 4th down and 10 here, basically 4th down and 8, but with just a couple of seconds remaining, Manning can take the ball and either step back a couple of steps and fall down and use up the final seconds, or give it off to a die. They're not going to give the Raiders a chance to punt it. Manning just throws it as high as he can, and when it comes down, the game is over. The final seconds are consumed. So the Indianapolis Colts are AFC South champs 21-14 as we go to New York.
Dan Scott is a real